What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. Today, I sit down with Ryan Curtis, really awesome guy, taking over his dad's business. He's worked under his dad for 8 years, wants to switch gears, wants to be the business owner, wants to help him retire, wants to help him leave a legacy. Man, I love this stuff. Had to go down to the foundation on this one, guys. Anyone struggling with hiring, anyone struggling with getting your name out there, you're going to love this one. And even if you are in a position where things are working out great for you, maybe dive back into the principles, the foundation, some of the things we cover in here. It might even refine what you're doing, make it even a little bit better. So thank you guys for listening. And it starts right now. What's going on, everyone? I'm here with Ryan Curtis with ResCom Painting. Welcome, my friend. And you were just telling me how the business started. You said your dad started the business?
Yep.
Okay. Excuse me. Your dad started the business, and are you currently taking over in terms of
that's
the
the
operation?
plan. I'm working my way towards that. My dad's getting up there in age, so it's kind of like
So what are you doing now for work?
Right now I'm painting. I've been painting with him for the last 6-7 years.
So you're like an employee of the company.
Yeah, it's basically just me and him. So
okay. So you're looking to kick things into gear. You want to get some
Yes.
systems in place. You want to start hiring and actually taking it seriously.
Exactly.
How does he feel about that?
Good. That's his goal too. Okay. He's all on board. He's ready to,
What are some areas that you're thinking this is going to be tough?
The mainly hiring, and then just working on marketing. I don't know too much about how to do that, but mainly just hiring, finding a good crew of guys. That's really the hardest part.
Let's start off with this. Not so much find a good crew of guys. Start off with one guy. Start trying to find one guy at a time. And I think we get in this idea that we need to find multiple people to get to where we want to be. You can hire one person and ride that out for 4 months. You can hire another person, ride that out for 4 months. Then you have a solid team of two that at least are committed. In terms of hiring, do you have any experience doing interviews, putting out your name to Indeed or Craigslist? Do you have any experience with that at all?
I haven't done so much of it. My dad has. I've hired a few people that I've met along the way, and they'd be there for a couple months and then they're off, then they just don't work out.
So were you in charge of hiring those people, or was your dad?
The people that I brought on, yeah, and then my dad's hired other people too, and they haven't worked out.
So let's reverse engineer that, because one thing that I always like to do is find out why that happened, right? Because when you go into it, Ryan, I mean, it's never the case, right? We're never like, oh, this guy's not going to work out. We always go into it thinking, hey, this guy's going to be great, right?
Right.
Every time. So take me through give me one example of when you brought someone on. How did you meet them? And then what was the process like from the time you met them to when they started on their first day?
Well, my most recent buddy I had work for us. I met him when I worked at Crystal Mountain, which is a ski resort.
Okay.
He moved out here from West Virginia because I thought he'd be a good worker. It's my friend, and he came here and he worked out at first, but then it's just like his attitude changed at work. And
so when you asked him if he wanted to come work for you, did you just tell him to show up at the job?
So he actually came and moved into my house with me, and he rented a room from me.
Wow.
So it was like a
close friend. Extra committed.
Yeah. And so because he came all the way from West Virginia, because we can't find no one out here in Washington. We can't find no one to work.
I want you to never say that again, because that's gonna limit you, brother, and to the point where you won't find anyone, because that's the story, right? And I want you to know this. It's not that you can't find people, they just can't find you in the same way your customers can't find you. If your phone isn't ringing off the hook, it's because you didn't have a Super Bowl ad. Do you understand? You didn't advertise at the Super Bowl, so no one saw you. You know. So I want you to understand that hiring and marketing go hand in hand. You don't have to learn how to do each one. You just got to know the principles behind each one, and you can actually knock out both at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Give me an example of somebody else. This was a really rare case where somebody moved into your house. Do you have another example of somebody that you brought on and didn't work out?
Yeah, I had a friend that I met through a friend. He moved up here from Florida and was staying with my friend, and he needed a job, so we hired him.
Stop. When you hired him, did he just start coming to work, or did you go through an interview? Okay, so you went through an interview. Okay, Got it.
I mean, I talked to my dad about it. I told him who he was.
Yeah.
Me and my dad talked about it, and then it was like, all right, we'll just bring him to work Monday.
Okay. 0 for 2. Was there another one?
There was another friend that I hired that came for a few weeks and then, just kind of quit, didn't show up, didn't say nothing.
Even my experience hiring friends, in my personal experience, doesn't work. It doesn't work because there's not this fear that needs to be there, doesn't need to be exercised. It just needs to be there. This little bit of, this little bit of awareness that they could lose their job if they don't do what they're supposed to do. But I think the mindset was, oh, it's Ryan, he'll be cool with it. That's that. I mean, do you feel as though that were the case?
Sorry, what was that?
In other words, do you think that your friends didn't really take you serious?
Yeah, kind of. It turned into they wouldn't listen to me. Like they're like, oh, that's my friend, I don't got to listen. I'd tell them to do something and then they'd like catch an attitude or.
Yeah. So the thing is that, in other words, let me break this down for you. You didn't give them something that made them feel like they were advancing, something worth losing. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you created what I believe to be a lily pad to get to the next spot, right? I mean, they really just used you to get to where they wanted to go rather than you being the destination. Right. Does that make sense?
Right.
So you've got to create the destination for some people. There's some people right now that are in your local area, probably within 20 miles, that would love to work for you. Right. Because you're taking the time out of your day to do a business coaching session to make your business better when they're probably working for somebody who is at the bar right now while they're working. Would you agree that that's a possibility?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the issue is not so much your experience, because the reality is that you really haven't tried yet. If you haven't had anyone cold come into your world. In other words, you're a business right now that is only selling jobs to referrals, and you don't know how to sell jobs to people that don't know you or have a reference to you, which is, that's not a good thing because you don't have that skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do we do it? So let me ask you this. If I tasked you with this task right now, if I said, Ryan, today you need to get an interview for somebody that you don't know, what would you do?
I'd make a Facebook post.
Okay.
Probably be where I start.
And what is that going to do? That's just going to attract your friends because it's on your Facebook. So that's not a good move.
Right.
What's the next thing you do?
Craigslist.
Craigslist. Okay. Once you put out a post on Craigslist, what happens?
Possibly get some calls.
Get some calls. Okay. When you get those calls, do you know what you're going to say?
Yeah, I have a little script that me and my dad worked on writing up just to ask questions.
After you hear what they have to say, what's the next step for you?
What was that?
After you hear what they have to say, what would be the next step?
Sit down and talk with my dad about it.
Okay.
Sorry, I gotta go to a different room here real quick.
No, that's okay. I hear the baby. How old's your kid?
She's 4 months.
4 months. Okay. Yeah. So lack of sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a pretty good sleeper, man.
Oh man. God bless you, man. My son is too.
Lucky.
I have a 3-month-old. My son's a very good sleeper. My daughter, man, she's still making this work. That's okay. Yeah. She's the princess. She's allowed. All right. So
I need to
yeah.
Real quick. There we go. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine, man. You're fine. So where I'm getting at with this is that what would be that next step? You and your dad talk about it. What's the next step for you, man? Like in terms of like, okay, you and your dad agree this guy's a good fit. What happens?
We tell him to show up to a job.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue, right? Is that you guys make it way too easy to work for you. You know, It's like any company that has pride in their hiring, because hiring is the most important aspect of your business, Ryan. That's what's going to either stress you out to no end or make you feel like you've accomplished something by owning a business. Comes down to the people you let in.
Right.
You know, you've got to take people through a very strategic process for no reason other than making sure that you're not wasting your time. Do you know how exhausting it is to hire somebody, train them, and then 3-4 weeks later they quit on you? And then you know how tiring that is? And do you know that the motivation of getting someone else probably cuts in half?
Yeah, each time.
And you're just like, you know what? Forget it. It's just better for me to do this by myself.
That's kind of where me and my dad have got.
Exactly. But you guys have this false perception that there's no good help out there. But I have to tell you that you're just not doing it right.
Right.
Because that would almost be like saying there's no people out there.
Right. That makes sense.
That make no sense. Of course, there's people out there. I also want to point out this. Would you say that your dad understands all aspects of painting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say that you understand all aspects of painting? If you work for me and I threw you in a house, would you be able to paint it to the standard of which we both expect?
Problem.
No problem. Okay. So why are you looking for painters?
To expand.
Wrong answer. You're not ready to expand. Expansion is once you have a system that works. Right? You haven't created a system that works. So you guys aren't in the expansion phase. The expansion phase comes after you have a process for every area of your business: administration, sales, marketing, and production. Then what you do is you expand and duplicate that process. You haven't created the process yet. So the idea that you would actually be leaving the actual production right now full time, don't even think about it for the next 2 years. It may be a year where you're not saying that you are the production. I'm just saying expansion, right? So let me tell you why I'm saying this is because what I believe that you need is somebody that knows how to work, has good character, morals, can communicate well, and gives a damn, and you teach them how to paint. Both you and your dad know how to paint. So in other words, what you're looking for is somebody that can roll, somebody that wants to learn how to cut. If they don't know how to cut, use tape, learn how to prep. You understand? What does that do? That creates a very, very large labor pool. So instead of looking for somebody that has A+ skill that you're probably looking for, somebody that knows all aspects of painting. Not only that, communicates well, is presentable, cares about your business, works for the wage you want to pay. You're looking for a unicorn. No wonder you feel like there's no one out there. Not saying that you couldn't find them. It's going to require a lot of work. It's going to require a lot of marketing to get your name out there. So when that person's looking for a job, they can apply to you. So you have to identify what you're looking for. So let's talk about it. I got to figure that out before we move on. I mean, what are you looking for? First of all, let me ask you this. How much do you plan on paying somebody to work for you full time?
Right now we're starting at $20 an hour.
Beautiful. So you're motivated. I mean, that's a good pay, but I'm sure that was for somebody that had some skill.
I think that's just the price of labor, in my opinion.
You're in Washington, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You guys.
That's the price of labor. I don't care how you slice it. That's
fine. There's a marketing principle for you. He who pays the most for the customer wins the customer. He who pays the most for the employee wins the employee. Pay the money, win the game that way. Okay. So let's talk about this. What you should be looking for is this. You should be looking for somebody with any experience in any physical labor. Okay. That's number one. In terms of your process of getting people in the door, okay, getting people to the point where you're ready to hire them is more than just an application, a phone call, a discussion, and they're pretty much on the job. That's desperation hiring. Okay? You wouldn't take any job that's thrown your way, would you?
No.
You filter them out, right? If I asked you to roof my house, you're not going to do it. Why? Because you asked me some questions. You felt me out as a customer. You realized that it's probably not a good idea for you to put a roof on my house. You're patient because you know what? What do you know? That if you wait, you're going to get the job that you want, right? It's the same thing with people. If you wait, you're going to get the person that you want. Even though you might have the applicant, he's in front of you. You have a big job coming up. You need somebody to help you. This would be convenient. Anytime you sacrifice quality for convenience in any capacity, you wind up with failure.
Yes, I can. Experience tells me that one.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is this. Number one, you got to know what you're looking for. So we've identified, we want somebody that has some sort of labor experience. We want somebody that identifies as a hard worker, somebody that takes your hiring process seriously, right? Let me go through the hiring process with you. It's a very simple process and it makes complete sense. It's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of effort. First one is that you want to put your ad out anywhere you can possibly put it. Okay. And in the same way, when it comes to marketing, if you're saying, well, I can't find customers, my next question to you would be, and you didn't say this, I'm just being hypothetical. How much have you spent on marketing, Ryan? And you would say, well, I boosted my post the other day for $100. And I'd say, well, that's great, Ryan, but that's nothing in comparison to what you need to in order to compete. How many painting companies around your area right now do you think are paying Indeed to broadcast a position in their company?
Probably a few,
but not all.
Right.
So that gets you in the game. In the same way, how many painting companies do you think are paying for marketing in terms of getting their name out there? Few, not all.
Right.
So you need to be in the game. Pay to play. This is the game. It's pay to play. And if you take this advice as a business owner, the transition you're going to have to make from an employee to a business owner, the hardest transition is how you see money. Because as an employee, we look at money as our ticket to security.
Right.
And when we have that as our reference to money, what happens is that we hold on to it and we don't want to let it go. You have a family, you have a 4-month-old, I think you have a wife or a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get money, you want to save it. Obviously, you have to spend money on your bills and you save it. Is that how you operate?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay. There's this missing ingredient that you weren't taught or you never experienced because you've never owned a business, and it's called investing.
Yeah.
Right. And when we think of investing, what we've been taught is that we save more money for retirement. Okay.
Right.
Well, that's cool and all, but that doesn't help us now. And when I say investing, really what that means, Ryan, is that you look at how much money you're making. Number one, you need to talk with your dad about how you guys divvy up the money, because chances are if he hasn't brought this up to you, maybe he needs to realign his thinking too, because he's bringing you on as a partner. With partners comes profit.
Right.
Okay. With also profit comes, hold on a second, we really shouldn't be taking any profit. We need to reinvest it back into the business. Is that going to be a hard conversation for you to have with that?
No, we've already talked about that. That's kind of what's got the ball rolling on this.
Love it. Perfect. So let's talk about this in terms of what you're going to be doing with the money, because that's really important. First of all, you should be running an ad on Indeed every day for $10 a day, $300 a month. Would you trade me $300 for 50 good applicants for your business?
Yeah, that's
an easy thing, right? But not everybody's going to fit what you're looking for, right? So we need to filter them out. Okay. How do we filter them out? We do a couple of things. Number one, what we do is we create a really, really appealing ad. And what that ad does is it essentially keeps people away that don't align with what the ad says. What are some of your values, Ryan? What do you value in business?
Quality, honesty, integrity, getting the job done right. Really,
what is the typical work day look like for you?
Wake up, show up, get ready to work, take lunch, go back, finish the work, go home.
Awesome. What are your goals as a company?
As a company, like overall, just to have enough, really. I don't need to be a rich millionaire, nothing like that. I just want enough to be comfortable, support my family.
Okay. Cool. And in terms of what you want to provide for anyone that works for you, what does that look like?
I want them to be able to have enough to support their family.
Great. So in other words, growth is what you want.
Yes.
Only way to do that is to grow. Business can't be stagnant. So don't get that. Don't fall into that trap of if you keep the mentality of, I want to do this to have enough, that's all you're going to get is just enough.
Right.
Unfortunately. And it's not so much saying that you got to be greedy. You just got to understand the game.
Right.
The game is growth. What you do with the money determines whether you're greedy or not making the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So let's get that out of the way. It's no more enough. It's my goal is to grow this freaking thing to where it supplies income to my family for the rest of my life and my child.
Right.
So you have to align that mission. And then what you want to do is you want to rephrase that mission in a way that appeals to individuals that have the same values and standards and goals as you, because there's a lot of them. Would you agree that there's people out there that have the values of integrity, trust, honesty, and commitment?
Yeah.
Would you agree that some people out there have the same goals of creating a legacy, building a brand, having a motivated company that customers love and can't wait to work with?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe there's also people that don't have those qualities?
Yes.
Okay. So how do we separate the two? Well, we put those things in our freaking ad.
Right.
Be transparent. Be transparent in business in all that you do. And when it comes to interviewing and when it comes to customers, and you'll never have a problem, because the people that want to work with you are the people that want to work with you, not the promises that you make them just to get the job. In the same way, it's with employees. So let's go back to this. When it comes to your process, it has to have that information in the ad. Don't just put out an ad that says, "Hey, I'm looking for a painter."
Right.
I mean, you have no way of filtering out their character.
Right.
I'm looking for on-time individuals that have a valid driver's license and a vehicle that take pride in showing up every day on time, no exceptions unless a doctor note.
Right.
Or a family emergency.
Right.
Guess how many people won't apply to that? Anyone that doesn't feel that they can meet that standard. They're not going to waste their time. People do not want to feel rejection.
Right. Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Next step of the process. You've got to take them to an application that asks them about their experience. I like Google Forms. You can create whatever you want. Ask whatever questions you want. Put a little link to it in the bio of that ad. So when people fill that out, you say, hey, you must fill out this form, copy and paste it into your browser and fill it out. This way you have a place for only the people that follow directions. So maybe 50 people applied to your Indeed ad and only 20 people filled out the form. Guess what you just did? Saved yourself 30 people worth of time.
Right.
From there, then you dial in what you're looking for. If that ad does a good job, it's going to emphasize skill set. Okay. It's going to emphasize, experience. And it's also going to do another job of filtering out. There's one question I love on our form. It says, we're all learning something every day. What is something that you learned recently?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Do you know how many people put, why is this question important? I haven't learned anything. I learned how to make money. I learned how to whatever. I learned that I can't trust people.
Right.
That's what they put on these applications. It's unfreaking believable to me. Great. You're out. And then you get the guy that says, I just learned how to change the radiator of my grandmother's car. I saved her about $450. I looked it up on YouTube and it was really cool.
Right.
I want to talk to that guy.
Right.
Wow. Questions can change the way you perceive people based on their answers. So you got to have something like that, brother. Next step. Okay. You like that guy, the radiator guy. He sounds good. Dad, let's look at this application together. He sounds good. Let's do a phone interview.
Right.
You already said you have a set of questions for the phone interview. Here's where you missed it though. Do not let them come to the job unless you meet them.
Right.
You can't do that. You wouldn't want someone doing that to you if you hired them.
Right.
Some rando, you know?
Yeah.
And plus, what does that do for the person that's applying? It's like, oh, just like all the other painting companies.
Right.
Honey, they said they want me to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that, man? That's not good.
Right.
Hey, man, next step of the hiring process, we're going to meet at Starbucks. It's going to be a brief 15, 20-minute interview. We're going to sit down, chat, see if we're a good fit for one another. How's that sound? Great. I'm going to send you an address. Be there on time.
Right.
Honey, I have an interview tomorrow. I need to get ready. Let's go to the mall and get me an outfit. Wow.
Right.
Difference, bro. It's all about the perception.
Right.
People tend to hold on to things that they earned rather than the things that they didn't.
True.
You give someone money, they're going to spend it a lot quicker than they did if they earned it. So when it comes down to that, it's interview. Now you control the interview, right? What you're doing is you're trying to listen, man. You want to see what they say. Use thought-provoking questions. One thing that I'm looking for, big star in the room, is I want to know, can you accept blame or do you deflect blame? That's what I care about.
Right.
Tell me a time you made a mistake and tell me the outcome of that mistake on the job.
Right.
That'll give you everything you need to know about the person right there. If they say, oh, well, we were working and I was rolling with my buddy and he kicked over the bucket and we tried to clean it up, it didn't work out. So we just replaced it. I was on the job site, man. I should have looked out, the guy next to me was rolling and I should have told him that the bucket was next to him. And we knocked it over, man. I took blame for that one.
Yeah. Right.
Same story, different perspective. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's how you filter people. Next. Great. Like that guy. He's on. He showed up on time, came presentable, excited about the opportunity. What do you do as a business owner now? First, you got to make sure that you're not letting anyone in your business that didn't tell you what they should have told you. So one of your screening questions is there anything on a background check that you feel as though would come up that you want to present to me at this time?
Right.
That doesn't mean that we just don't hire people with a history, man. I'm not about that. I just want to make sure that they're being honest.
Right.
That's what I care about.
Right.
Okay. Then you actually run the background check. Clearchecks.com, $40. Takes 2 days. $40 to invest in your business. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell them, hey, we just got to run the background check. Once that comes back, we could do a working interview.
Yeah.
Working interview, man. Working interview. What's the working interview? Oh, you're going to work alongside us for 4 days. After that, we're going to sit down again and just, we'll offer you the job if everything lines up. Tell me they're not going to be the best you've ever seen for those 4 days.
Right.
Then from there, okay, great. We're going to offer you an opportunity. So it's like, do you see how much different what I just explained to you is than maybe what you're referencing?
Oh, 100%.
Do you see just through that explanation how you can filter out people all the way to the point where you get an excellent candidate?
Right. Yeah.
Bro, I have 12 employees. I do this every single time. If somebody said, hey, do you have problems hiring? No. Anytime I need an employee, I can get one. Why? Because I have the system. It's easy.
Right.
Freaking easy for me, dude. Easy. So I just don't want you to have that limiting belief. And that's what it is. It's a belief that just doesn't really, it's not really true. So, with all that said, I'm going to give you a couple action steps. First, I want to give you my hiring course. It's going to speed you up. All right. I'm going to give it to you for free. You can get started on it today and take my advice seriously. Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
That's number one. Number two, you need to sign up with Gusto. If you don't have a payroll system in place, use the link in the bio of the podcast. Anyone listening, but I will also send it to you, Ryan, separately. You get a $150 gift card from them for doing it. But anyway, it's a payroll.
What was that place called? Sorry. What was it called?
Gusto.
Gusto?
Yep. Gusto. What it does is it takes care of all the taxes, takes care of all the workers' comp, allows your employee to get direct deposit, gives them a pay stub. And it's pennies to the dollar. Very cheap. Great service. Okay. That's number two. Number three is in terms of marketing. Okay. Hiring somebody is stressful in and of itself. Adding the stress of not being able to keep someone busy makes it even worse, especially when you have a great applicant. You're like, damn, I got to make sure I got work for this guy. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we need to have a separate conversation about marketing. Okay.
Yes.
We'll do that another time.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. I'll send you a link to book with me again. We've got to figure out marketing. We got to get that down. So maybe you can come on again. We'll do that.
That's the biggest thing. Cause like I said, my dad's had the business open for 8 years and we haven't spent a single dollar on marketing. And he keeps me and him and sometimes another guy busy year round.
Right.
So, but I want to step in.
That's good for him and you.
Right. Exactly.
But again, you want to be able to control and build the muscle of leads and learning how to get your name out there when you need it. Because you and I both know if your dad doesn't have a job for a week, he's like, all right, well, I'll get it the next week.
Right.
That doesn't exist when you have employees.
Right. Exactly. And that's,
And also he's getting all sorts of work. One day he's staining. One day he's doing this. One day he's doing that. Why? Because he's not controlling what's coming his way.
Right. Controlling
so that prolongs jobs. That creates harder jobs for your employees to learn.
Yeah.
So marketing is more than just finding help. It's choosing what jobs you want.
Right. Okay. Right? Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Was this helpful?
Yes, 100%, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem, bro. Thank you. I'm going to send you an email here in a little bit. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. Thanks, Ryan. Take care, man.
Yeah. Have a good one.
You too.
The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right. They're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener. It's so much better. And that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals. It's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time. It's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com, and we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.